Kansas, Michigan. That's Friday at Cowboy Stadium, and the star guard for the Wolverines, the consensus National Player of the Year, Trey Burke, joining us on the program. How's it feel to be named the National Player of the Year?
It feels really good. It's definitely an honor. But I know that I wouldn't be here without my teammates and coaching staff. So, they trust me, and they put the ball in my hands to make plays, and that's my job.
What if you went by Alfonso instead of Trey?
Well, I don't think a lot of people know that that's my real name, but I don't know. It'll be different. It'll be something different. It'll probably feel a little weird for a little while, but I'll get used to it after a while.
Does Trey sound a little more intimidating than Alfonso?
I don't think so. I think Alfonso may sound more intimidating. I'm not sure really, but I grew up being called Trey, so I'm pretty used to that. I'm the third Alfonso, so that's why my mother named me Trey as my nickname.
Which father of a Michigan player still feels like they have the most game?
I'll probably have to say Glenn Robinson, big dog.
More so than Tim Hardaway?
Yeah, I think Mr. Hardaway, he may be a little too slow now. I'm sure he still has game. But I think he may be a little too slow.
Did you ever watch tape of your teammates' fathers playing in the NBA? Realize how good they were?
Yeah. I watched Tim Sr. and Big Dog. I watched both of them in college and in the NBA. It's definitely a pleasure to be playing with their sons. That's big time, and I enjoy it. I appreciate the opportunity to get to play with, some future Hall of Famer sons.
If you weren't voting for yourself for College Basketball Player of the Year, who would you have voted for?
That's a good question. I'll probably have to go with Victor Oladipo, just because of his all-around efforts and the way he plays the game with 100% effort, and I think that's the type of way I play. Every time I go out there, I leave it all on the court and play like it's my last game, and I think he would deserve it if I wasn't voting for myself.
Talking to Trey Burke, the Michigan sophomore guard. They've got Kansas coming up on Friday night. Tell me about the pressure when you go in as a big-time recruit or you have a big freshman year, the pressure of leaving after 1 year to be a one-and-done.
It's a lot of pressure. If you have the opportunity, it's definitely something that you have to think about very hard. It reminded me of my recruiting process going into college. I didn't know if I was going to come back to school or stay, but once I talked to my parents and my coaching staff and got some of their advice, I knew the best decision for me was to come back to school. But as a 19-year-old kid, it's definitely a lot of pressure. You have a lot of different advice and different people talking to you. You just have to take the right advice.
How did it feel putting on those yellow uniforms for the first time?
For my freshman year or sophomore year?
Sophomore year.
Really
the highlighters.
It felt real good. Them are one of my favorite jerseys that we wear, and I think we might be undefeated. No, we lost to Indiana in those jerseys, but it definitely feels good to put those jerseys on. Every time I put a jersey on for Michigan, though, I want to go out there and play like it's my last game because, I know I'm not just representing myself, but the school as well.
It sounds like you're going to take care of business here, and then you might get paid for taking care of business next year.
Well, that's something that, like I said, I'll talk it over after the season. I haven't made a decision yet. A lot of people have been asking me, where I'm leaning towards, but, in all honesty, I'm trying to just focus on this week and, take each game by each game. Just staying in the moment, really.
All right. Let's say Michigan wins the national title. What would that do to your decision?
It will probably definitely, make my decision much easier, which is to leave, because that's just, that's really today's culture, really. If you get that far, as a team and, you had those opportunities, then you definitely have to look into them and, make sure that you're making the right decision. But, that's just something that like I said, I'll talk over with my family and, try to come up with something at the end of the season.
You go from Ohio to Michigan. How did that go over in Ohio when you went to Michigan for college?
I got a lot of I got a lot of crap when I went back home, but I'm pretty much used to it now. I got a lot of fans back in Ohio, and a lot of people want to see me do well, but see us lose as a team. And I understand that just because of the rivalry between Ohio and Michigan, but I enjoy playing for Michigan. I feel like I have a chip on my shoulder, especially when people from Ohio, doubt me and things like that, just because I didn't go to Ohio State. So I definitely use it as motivation.
Why didn't you go to Ohio State?
Well, I wasn't heavily recruited by Ohio State. I think they already pretty much knew who they wanted, and I think Kraft was already committed there when they started recruiting me. And, they had Shannon Scott on their list, and I think that was their number one target. So, they basically went a different route, which was fine with me. I had other options, and, I think it came down to Cincinnati and Michigan between my last two schools, and I just felt like Michigan was the best situation for me.
What do you think of Aaron Kraft?
Oh, a great player. He's a winner. A guy that's going to play hard for 40 minutes and leave it all out there on the court.
Is he annoying?
Yeah, he can be sometimes. If you play into it, then he can be. But you just have to, as a point guard, you just have to know his strengths on the defensive end and, try to exploit them. But, at times he can be just because of how good of a defender he is. But there's different ways that you can, beat that.
Well, good luck against Kansas. Congrats on being the National Player of the Year.
I appreciate it a lot. Thank you for having me.
That's Trey Burke, Michigan sophomore guard.